What if I told you that building your first million in 2025 has far less to do with luck than it does with following the right patterns, not winning the lottery, not going viral overnight, just making the same proven decisions over and over again? Because in today's economy, the tools to create wealth are already in your hands. Literally, the internet has leveled the playing field. The biggest difference between the people who succeed and the people who don't isn't opportunity, it's execution. Building wealth isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. In this video, we're breaking down 5 powerful wealth building principles you can start using today. And before we're done, we'll uncover 5 silent mistakes that quietly destroy people's chances of success long before they ever realize what's happening. Let's get started. The first principle is mastering a high income skill that can scale. Think of your income like a faucet. Most people keep turning the same old handle, hoping to squeeze a few extra dollars out of a job with limited upside. Wealthy people think differently. Instead of chasing a bigger drip, they build an entirely new pipeline. They focus on skills that businesses are willing to pay premium rates for. Take Sarah Blakely as an example. Long before she turned Spanx into a billion-dollar company, she was knocking on doors selling fax machines. But she wasn't just making sales. She was developing one of the most valuable skills in business: persuasion. Every cold call, every rejection, every negotiation became training. Later, when it was time to convince major retailers to carry her product, that experience became one of her greatest advantages. You don't need to be a genius. You need a skill that creates measurable value. One that helped businesses make more money or save valuable time. That could be copywriting, paid advertising, sales, UGC content creation, email marketing, software development, or even storytelling that increases conversions. Ask yourself a simple question. If you lost your job tomorrow, could you generate income on your own within the next 30 days? If the answer is no, you're depending on someone else's paycheck. Spend the next 90 days becoming exceptional at one skill that directly contributes to business growth. Don't just consume information. Create, sell, test, improve. In today's economy, valuable skills are one of the strongest forms of currency. The second principle is building one reliable income stream before chasing multiple ones. Everyone talks about having 7 streams of income, but most people haven't built even one that produces consistent cash flow. Successful entrepreneurs focus on depth before they focus on variety. Imagine your income is a tree. Most people try planting 5 trees at the same time. None receive enough attention to survive. Wealth builders nurture one tree until it's producing fruit consistently. Only then do they plant the next one. Look at Alex Hormozi. Today, he's one of the biggest business creators on YouTube. But before the books, the content, and the millions of followers, he focused almost entirely on one business model: helping gym owners grow and turn around struggling businesses. He mastered that system, scaled it, and eventually sold it. Only after that foundation was in place did he expand into new ventures. So ask yourself, what's the one business model you're willing to commit to for the next 6 months? Maybe it's freelancing. Maybe it's YouTube. Maybe it's selling digital products or offering high-ticket services. Give yourself a 6-month runway and judge your progress using only 2 measurements: consistency and momentum. Forget the fantasy of passive income. First, build active income that's reliable and repeatable. That's what creates the foundation for long-term wealth. The third principle is becoming obsessed with the process instead of the outcome. They think about becoming a millionaire, and the goal feels so enormous that they never begin. Going from $0 to $1 million seems impossible when all you can see is the distance. But wealthy people don't spend their time staring at the finish line. They focus on the next step. Take Ali Abdaal. He didn't begin with millions of subscribers or a business generating millions in revenue. He started recording videos on his iPhone in his bedroom after finishing long hospital shifts. Week after week, year after year, he kept showing up. He wasn't chasing millions. He was chasing better videos, stronger systems, and better storytelling. Over time, those small improvements compounded into extraordinary results. Think about fitness. If you check the mirror every single day expecting a six-pack, you'd probably quit after a week. But if you genuinely enjoy showing up at the gym, the results eventually become inevitable. So, ask yourself what process you could enjoy repeating: writing, building, teaching. Successful people are shaped during the boring days, the repetitions, and the work nobody else notices. If your goal is to build your first million, learn to enjoy the ordinary work that gets you there. The fourth principle is reinvesting before you feel successful. Most people ask, how can I make more money? Wealth builders ask, how can I make my money produce even more value? Consider Arvid Kahl. As a solo founder, he built and eventually sold a successful SaaS business, but the real advantage wasn't simply selling the company. It was how he used his early profits along the way. He hired freelancers to handle customer support, invested in software that automated onboarding, and spent money on coaching and mentorship long before he felt wealthy. Those investments saved years of costly mistakes. Reinvesting isn't only about putting money back into your business. It's about creating leverage, hiring people so you can buy back your time, using tools that multiply your productivity, learning from someone who's already solved the problems you're facing instead of figuring everything out through trial and error. If you find yourself saying, I can't afford that course, that software, or that freelancer, instead of thinking, I can't afford it, ask yourself a different question. What's it costing me to keep doing everything myself? Wealthy people measure decisions by return on time, not just return on investment. The fifth principle is building systems that can grow without you. You can't hustle your way to lasting wealth. Hard work gets you started. Systems are what create freedom. A freelancer only gets paid when they're actively working. A business owner builds income that continues whether they're at their desk or not. The shift happens when you document your process, delegate repetitive work, or automate it entirely. Take Thomas Frank. He started by creating productivity videos on YouTube, but instead of stopping there, he transformed his knowledge into templates, digital products, and automated systems. Over time, those assets became a business that generates revenue far beyond the hours he personally works. That's the power of creating something once that continues producing value. Ask yourself, what task do you repeat every week that could be automated or delegated? Could your expertise become a digital product, a template, a course, or software? Wealthy people don't spend their lives trading hours for dollars. They build systems that keep producing value long after the work is done. If becoming wealthy were simply about working hard, millions of people putting in long hours every week would already be millionaires. But effort alone isn't enough. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they walk straight into traps they never recognized. Let's look at 5 of the biggest wealth killers and how to avoid them. The first trap is earning more without having a strategy. You finally land a high-paying job. Maybe you're making 6 figures, receiving bonuses, and enjoying great benefits. Yet somehow, you still feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because earning money and building wealth are 2 completely different skills. Most people focus entirely on increasing income while ignoring how to keep, invest, and protect it. They overlook taxes, spend without a plan, fail to buy appreciating assets, and treat every paycheck as permission to upgrade their lifestyle instead of strengthening their financial future. The solution is to manage your income the way a business would. Track every dollar. Give every dollar a purpose. Take advantage of legal tax strategies, business structures when appropriate, retirement accounts like a 401k or Roth IRA, and other tax-efficient ways to build wealth. In the long run, what matters isn't just what you earn. It's what you keep and what you make that money become. The second trap is spending like you've already made it. Your income increases, so you finance a nicer car, move into a bigger apartment, and start spending more without thinking. Before long, you're right back where you started at the end of every month. That's lifestyle inflation. It's one of the biggest obstacles to building wealth because it convinces you that looking successful is the same as becoming financially secure. It isn't. The solution is simple. Delay lifestyle upgrades. Treat every raise as fuel for investing instead of permission to spend. Build the habit of investing first and spending what's left afterward. Many wealthy people live well below their means long before anyone realizes they're wealthy. The third trap is believing better tactics can fix a limiting mindset. You watch endless finance videos, read personal finance books, download budgeting apps, try new productivity systems, yet nothing really changes. That's because tools can't solve beliefs. If deep down you believe you're bad with money, that you'll never earn more, or that people like you simply don't become wealthy, your actions will eventually match those beliefs. Change the story first. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, ask, how could I afford it? Spend more time around ideas and people that make financial success feel normal instead of impossible. Celebrate small wins so your brain begins associating progress with your new identity. Your mindset is your greatest financial asset. Invest in it before anything else. The fourth trap is confusing being busy with making progress. You're working 10-hour days. Managing multiple side hustles, always exhausted, yet your bank account barely changes. That's not leverage, that's survival mode. Being busy can feel productive, but if your work only creates income while you're actively doing it, you've built yourself another job. Instead, ask better questions. Will this work continue paying me months from now? Can this process be automated? Can someone else do it just as well? Will this create an asset that grows over time? The wealthiest people eventually stop selling time. They build businesses, products, content, software, and teams that continue creating value without constant involvement. The real goal isn't working more, it's creating more while working less. The fifth trap is quitting before the results become visible. You launch a business, upload your first videos, release your first product, and nothing seems to happen. No audience, no customers, no momentum. So you assume it isn't working and walk away. What most people never see is that nearly every successful entrepreneur goes through a long period where the effort feels invisible. There's a season where the work comes long before the rewards. The people who eventually succeed are usually the ones who kept showing up when nobody was paying attention. So stop chasing immediate validation. Fall in love with showing up consistently. Set goals based on time instead of outcomes. Commit to working on your craft for the next 90 days instead of obsessing over subscriber counts, views, or sales. Measure your habits more closely than your results. Success rarely arrives all at once. It builds quietly beneath the surface until one day the progress everyone else calls overnight finally becomes visible. Building your first million isn't about making one perfect decision. It's about making smart decisions consistently for years. Develop a skill that solves real problems. Stay focused until it produces meaningful results. Become obsessed with execution. Reinvest intentionally. Build systems that continue creating income long after the initial work is finished. Because the moment you stop chasing quick wins and start building lasting assets is the moment your financial future begins to change. If this video gave you a new perspective, let me know in the comments which step you're committed to taking first. Subscribe for weekly videos on building wealth, improving your financial mindset, and creating long-term freedom. And turn on notifications so you don't miss the next strategy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.